Hey, my name's Jake Nicholson. Welcome to my YouTube channel. There's another landlord survey and it's not looking good. This is going to impact you if you're a tenant. This is also going to impact house prices, in my opinion. And if you're a landlord, it's worth knowing just what other people are considering doing in the market. But also, this could be an opportunity. Maybe you're looking to start a buy-to-let strategy. Maybe you're looking to invest in property, and having the fact that there are some buy-to-let properties that are going to be coming onto the market could be a golden opportunity for some. So in this video, we're going to break down who has done this survey. What are landlords responding? Are they leaving? How many are leaving? We know they're leaving, but how many are leaving and what impact that could have? And before we jump into this, as always, if you're new around here, do make sure you subscribe to the channel over there and hit that bell notification. We're on the way to 50,000 subscribers. And by subscribing, you'll get all the latest house price news, interest rate news, property news, and much, much more. And last thing, let's get some views on this video. Your part is simple. All you need to do is smash like, tickle like, do something to that like button. That helps with the YouTube algorithm, and that's really helped the channel grow. So thanks to everyone that does that. So this is a survey done by Landbay. I actually have 2 mortgages with Landbay for my properties that I've got with my eldest daughter, Georgia, one in Doncaster, the house that we bought up there. You can see that on the channel if you want to see us refurbing that. And the flat we bought in Dorking in Surrey. We've got both of those here with Landbay. So I'm familiar with them. Before I had that mortgage, I never heard of them. So Landbay have done a survey and they have got some startling numbers. And they're saying that 42% of landlords want to quit the market. Now, that's huge. That's a huge number. But it's not just a one-off survey, because HMRC did a survey with landlords as well, and they got more than 50% of landlords saying they want to quit the market. So lots of these surveys are giving similar results. Now, when we talk about it on this channel, I think that the numbers are higher than that. I think there's 60% maybe. I can't be certain, but I'm pretty confident that at least the vocal landlords are all saying, look, I want to leave the market. Let me ask you a question. If you are a landlord, let me know in the comments. Are you staying or are you going? Let me know in the comments. Just put staying or going in there. Be interesting to see how that works out. Now, in Landbay's survey, what's interesting here is it's the small landlords that are staying. So the smaller landlords are less likely to be considering leaving. Now, I would have thought that that would have been different, because the smaller landlords, the ones that have got 1s and 2s, so they class anyone that's small is under 5 properties. And so a small landlord here is often an accidental landlord. Maybe you're an accidental landlord. I was initially an accidental landlord. I bought my studio flat in Dorking, converted it into a 1-bed at some point, and then I became an accidental landlord. And then I bought more properties in the future. I wanted to do it, but I didn't set out initially when I bought that property to be a landlord of any kind. And so small landlords are staying, and the bigger portfolio landlords are looking to leave. So you've got a huge number here that want to quit the market, and that isn't good. Now, what ultimately could result here is that the market could get an influx of properties, and then you get a glut of properties, and they'll either have to reduce them or they'll take ages to sell. That's why there is opportunities. If you can find landlords that want to sell, some of them will sell below market value just to get the deal done, because they want the money in their hand right now. So why are landlords leaving? Well, according to Landbay, these are the 3 reasons that they're leaving. First is EPCs, energy performance certificates. Now, every property, whether you list it for sale or do some, or even rent it, you have to have an EPC at some point. And so that is important. Now, Ed Miliband from the government has said you've got to get to an EPC level C by 2030. And so we've got that deadline, but they haven't really moved anything forward at the moment. And so we're waiting for new updates on that. But they're saying, initially, they were saying, look, you've got to spend 10 grand doing it up if you can't get to a level C. Now they're saying you've got to spend 15 grand. Still none of this is law. Still none of this is moving through very quickly. And in fact, I think that maybe with all the pressure that Keir Starmer's got at the moment, some of this green stuff, he might crush and get rid of. Just to try and get himself back up in the polls at the moment. So the EPC stuff, anyway, is a reason why landlords are leaving. Next is tax. Tax, tax, tax. No one likes to pay tax. It's not fun, is it? And so tax is a concern for landlords. Tax has been very high on landlords since something called Section 24. And that means that you can't deduct a lot of expenses, including your mortgage interest payments anymore from your tax bill. Every other business, you would be able to do that. Every business, if you're a plumber, you'd be able to deduct, for example, the fuel costs that you've got, the tool costs that you've got, the wages, all of your costs, materials would be deductible. Landlords, it's not the same. Their biggest cost is the mortgage payment. That is something you cannot deduct anymore. And that meant that some people, if they own the property in their personal name, it just doesn't work out. And so they're leaving the market because of that. But the biggest reason is the Renters' Rights Bill. And so they just feel it's over-regulating. And some of that could be true. The biggest problem in the Renters' Rights Bill for landlords is the fact that they don't like the no-fault evictions going, the Section 21. Because if you get a bad tenant and they don't pay you rent, they smash your property up and cause you problems, it can take a year in some cases to get your property back. After that year, you might get none of that year's rent and you've got to refurbish the property at the end of it. That can bankrupt some people. And so that fear of not being able to get your property back is making some landlords make that decision to leave. You've also got massive fines in the Renters' Rights Bill. If you don't register in the landlord database, you could get fined 10 grand. That's the first instance. If you keep doing it, 40 grand. There was a landlord the other day that had 18 properties seized from them for 5 years. I did a video on that. And that means they're not going to get rent for 5 years, still going to pay the mortgage, still going to pay all those costs. And so this stuff, while it can be good for tenants, actually is kind of backfiring, because what it's doing is it's shrinking the rental market and rents are rising. If you said to a tenant, would you prefer to allow the landlord to keep Section 21, but your rent stays low? I bet most of them would agree that that's what they would want. They would want a lower rent rather than actually that Section 21 being abolished. So this is a problem. This is a problem. You've got lots of landlords looking to leave the market. You've got multiple surveys confirming this isn't just a one-off survey with somebody now. And so ultimately what you're going to see is a shrinking rental market. It's currently shrunk back to the level it was in 2016, but our population has exploded since 2016. You see that in the media every single day, just like I do. And so the government need to look at policies that increase building. No one's building at the moment. There's no incentives to do that. There isn't enough social housing. That's the policies that need to be focused on in order to fix this rental crisis. What do you think about this? Let me know in the comments. And last thing, if you haven't done already, look, getting a good mortgage, whether you own the property or you're a landlord, is important. So we've created a free ebook called Mortgage Secrets. In that, we'll teach you how to get the best broker. That's important. That's a question I get asked a lot until I made that ebook, because the answer's in there. I'll teach you when's the right time to start the remortgage process, and also how to find off-market lenders. Don't just trust what your broker gives you. Don't just trust what's on the comparison sites. Go and check the off-market brokers, lenders, they often have the best deals. And so you can grab a copy of this in the description below and in the pinned comment. Do also smash the like, subscribe on your way out, and also check out all the other content as well on the channel, including this video right here.